Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
And I tell you this, my breakout moment in broadcasting was in Winnipeg doing the Wednesday Lottery with Don Whitman. And my favorite author, you can see there's a lot of books in behind me here. My favorite author is from Steinbach, Manitoba. Her name is Miriam Taves, and she moved up. Great story about Miriam. Her father, Mel, ran a school in Steinbach, but on weekends for pin money, he would sell his eggs up in Winnipeg. He would drop off containers of eggs. So at one point, he was getting ready to marry a woman named Elvira, who would be Miriam Taves, the author's mom. And he wanted to build a house just like one he'd seen in Winnipeg dropping off eggs. So Elvira says, well, what's it like inside? He says, oh, I have no idea. I just drop the eggs on the veranda and I move on. She said, well, you got to look inside to see if it's a house worth building. He says, I can't ask to go inside. I'm an egg deliverer. She said, leave it to me. So they go up to Winnipeg from Steinbach. She knocks on the door and says, do you mind if we have a look around? My husband here, Mel, wants to build a home just like this in Steinbach, and it will be our new wedding gift. And the guy says, come on in. It was Bill Mosienko. Bill Mosienko holds the record for the fastest hat trick in NHL history. He scored 3 goals in 21 seconds. And that just proves he's a good egg. Oh, sorry, there's a pun.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Some leather-lunged New Yorker. He's cheering for the Panthers, but he's behind me, and he was making all these jokes. He's like, yeah, the Panthers are losing by a hair. You know, I heard these Florida fans are rabid, but this is ridiculous. Anyways, and then security came down. Woo, right from everybody, because the rabbit's not hurting anybody. I was kind of hoping the rabbit would crap all over the kids.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome inside the RP Show. Coming at you live again from Calgary's Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, Calgary's entertainment destination. And I hope that you all had a fantastic weekend, because holy lick, holy Dinah, has this week come in hot like a lion. And we're going to cover it all here today with our good friend Darren Moose DuPont, who joins us from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, which we'll be driving to today through a blizzard, it would seem, Moose, to come back and do some public speaking in Sask this week. Coming up on the program today, the current voice of the Edmonton Elks of the Canadian Football League, Morley Scott, and the longtime color commentator of Edmonton Oilers hockey on 6:30, Chad, Morley Scott. That's in hour 1. And in hour 2, Peter Anholt, the general manager of the Lethbridge Hurricanes. He's from Nacum, where they make them, Nacum, Sask. So we got some great sports guests coming up on the program today. And Moose, yeah, you're looking very scholarly. Are you giving a keynote at the university this afternoon? Do you have your pipe ready to go, Moose?
Yeah, somebody nicknamed it Varsity DuPont when I wore this sweater one time. Couple of years ago, but no speeches today, just sitting here. I'll be in my study this afternoon, if you will.
Yeah, you got leather patches on that thing? Let me see.
Yeah, no leather patches.
Can you get some by this afternoon? All right.
I'll work on
and
it.
We are on the radio, WQEE in Metro Atlanta, and Ryan O'Radio is sitting in the air chair there. He writes in, happy Monday, time for the RP Show, Atlanta's NHL Show. We got a lot of people checking in. They're ready to rock. Let's put it this way. And you know, when I say that the week has come in like a lion, it really has. But as I opened up the text line, you can always write us at 902-518-3033. People need to understand this is not my personal text number. So if you write it on off hours, I'm not going to get it because I don't take it with me. It's only for the show. But Brian Goldstrom, watching on Game Plus Television in Withrow, Alberta, has written in over the weekend. He says, I got caught up on last week's shows after a week of night shift. Great guests, RP Show. Theo's interview should be a YouTube clip on its own. Hey, how about that? I know. Here, well, across Canada and specifically in Calgary, they're still talking about the Theo interview. Some horrible things were said about Theo. A few things about me. and neither of us care. I want to remind you all of that. And I don't know, I can't speak for Theo, and I won't. But I don't know what it is, Darren, and I'm sure you're very happy about this as the boss of this whole outfit. Since the calendar turned and I turned 50, I just don't have it in me to fight and argue and get in Twitter wars. I just don't. If you look around, I'm not warring with anybody at all. People might try and pick stuff and fling stuff, but I'm not. Theo came here, and as one of the guys, the security guys said, we were talking about Theo. What the heck did he say? How much he loves him. Whatever. Well, they're still talking about it. Let's just put it that way. I can't remember what he said. My mind just went blank, but I don't want to fight anymore. And I'm sure you like that, Moose.
It's definitely not a bad thing. You know, steer clear of anything that's going to bring you down, right? I mean, don't get sucked into that stuff. That's a life lesson, though, for anybody in your own situation. So good to hear. Great start to the week.
Yeah. The reason we were walking around the casino looking for Trisha, the coffee girl, and we talked about a bunch of things. So I'm trying to remember what specifically he said about Theo, but we'll get there. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director? We'll roll from there. Oh, yeah, but the politics. And I said, Theo tried to go down the political road here, and I said, no, I've got the hands on the wheel, and we're going to keep it to hockey. And that was controversial enough. And listen, I feel like we're going to get into some controversy stuff, but Sunday was a great day in the world of hockey. John Tavares scored twice, including a clutch power play goal at 15:09 of the third period as the visiting Toronto Maple Leafs defeated the Nashville Predators 3-2. Alexander Kerfoot also scored for the Leafs. Austin Matthews chipped in with two helpers. Two third-period goals 63 seconds apart by Elias Pedersen gave the visiting Vancouver Canucks a 4-2 victory over the Chicago Blackhawks. And the only game that I watched, the Boston Bruins extended their NHL win streak to 7 games, but it took a shootout. They beat Carolina 4-3. David Pastrnak scored twice for the Bruins, and elsewhere, Colorado beat Arizona 4-3 in a shootout, and LA beat St. Louis 7-6. I've got some very controversial hockey stuff to get into, but before we do, your take from the weekend of the NHL. Mine is that the Flames are still alive. Any thoughts of them missing the playoffs are premature. And that's about it. Some great hockey this weekend. I enjoyed it as much as I watched.
Yeah, that was really big on Saturday. You know, I watched, you know, both games, Hockey Night in Canada, while I was at a function. And, you know, for the Toronto-Carolina game was awesome. You know, that's going to make for some great playoffs, both those teams, back and forth in the final minutes. I like that. You know, we're seeing teams be able to deal with some adversity, which is good. And then you're right, like the Flames and the Jets. That was a bad swing for Jets fans. Great for the Flames. They stay alive with that big 4-point swing. Now just 4 points back. They need a couple more of those. So anytime you can be positive coming out of the weekend, it's a really good place to be. And I still wouldn't panic if I'm the Jets right now. The Flames have to beat you. They have to overcome. They haven't shown that they can do that yet. But, man, you're playing with fire.
They're in a better place than the Flames by virtue of being 4 points up, is what you're saying. But that's not to say that it's over yet, and it's not. And the thing is, I hope, again, everybody enjoyed the weekend. I need the weekends now at my advanced age because I'm old to just decompress. Now, having said that, I did more things on Saturday alone than most reporters or people in the media will do in a month or 2 months. I drove to Edmonton for the CFL Combine. I came back and went to the Flames and the Sharks, and then I went to the Muay Thai World Cup, all in one day, and was hanging out with Brett the Hitman Hart. Go look at our social media. You'll see it. So that was on Saturday, but I guess my point is everybody's busy, busy, busy. By the way, coming up here at the Grey Eagle this week, live in person, TSN's Craig Button, the director of scouting, will be on this couch. Olympic gold medal curler and multiple Brier winner Ben Hebert right here. And I believe my favorite Saskatchewan Rough Rider of all time, Jeff Fairholm's going to be with us on Friday. I talked to the commissioner of the Western Hockey League, Ron Robison, this morning, longtime friend. And there's a reason he's stayed in that role as the commissioner of the Dub for so long. It's because he's good. He speaks well. He looks good. He's been down here to the Grey Eagle before. I asked him to come back here on this opening week of the WHL playoffs, and he said, I'm flying to Seattle, Rod. I can do it over the phone if you want. And I'm like, I'd rather have people here in person wherever and whenever possible. So over the next few weeks, I said to Ronnie Robison, the pride of Indian Head, Sask, glad you asked. He'll be here over the next couple of weeks. And I want to say this, too, before we move on to anything else. I don't want to out that staff member, the Grey Eagle, that I walked around with in case he doesn't want to be. But dang, he had some great comments. Real sharp guys that work here, Moose and gals.
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Do you believe hockey is for everyone? Well, I love the result. I voted yes, and I could spend a lot of time talking about this. I voted yes because I believe hockey is for everyone. And let me get this out of the way first, because this is how I want to sum up my thoughts. Hockey is not the problem. People are the problem. Bigotry and closed-mindedness is the problem. Don't want to start a holy war? I don't. I also believe people are entitled to their own opinion about anything. You can't make somebody do something they don't want to do. And by the way, I used to think that way. And anybody who's known me my whole life will know that. I changed. It was because I had to. I was taken down by God, wrestled to the ground. You're going to change. So I did. And I said, you know, something's got to be better than the way I'm living. And I kind of opened up my eyes and said, oh, wow. I was accepting of other ideas, other ways of looking at things, other perspectives. Not everybody's like that. I'm glad that I have that dawn, you know, where I'm not looking through a keyhole anymore. I see the whole picture. Not everybody's like that, and that's fine for them. But hockey's not the problem. Hockey continues to get dragged through the mud. And you know what? We've had a lot of jerks and idiots work in hockey over the years and still do. But hockey's not the problem. You saw Brian Burke had to come on Hockey Night in Canada Saturday and talk about, you know, the inclusion thing, and talking about it it's a step in the right direction. We're not there yet, but don't let a couple nincompoops speak for everybody. And I couldn't agree more with Berkey. So my vote is yes. Hockey is for everyone. Just not everyone's for everyone. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say... Did we just go with yes or no in the poll?
Yes.
I would have to lean towards no right now. Hockey should be for everybody, but I think what we've seen with some of the people coming out, some of the players taking stands and saying, I'm not willing to at least wear this jersey or put this tape on my stick to even show you that I'm accepting of your lifestyle. I think that says that hockey's not for everybody yet. But I think we're moving in the right direction. I'm really optimistic that we are moving in the right direction and that it can be for everybody.
Glad that I said that I'm not into arguing anymore. Because I need to argue with you. James Reimer, Ivan Provorov, Vistals. They're the problem, not hockey.
Yeah, I agree.
Closed-mindedness. Closed-mindedness is the problem, not hockey. And I think, honestly, I don't think Gary Bettman was behind the hockey is for everyone theme. I'm sure he's not. He pays a lot of people a lot of money for that campaign and to come up with these campaigns. I bet she's wishing he hadn't now. I would think, you know, and the reaction from a lot of our audience regarding this controversial poll question is no, hockey's not for everyone. Now, I should say on Twitter, 82% of respondents are saying yes, hockey is for everyone. What are they saying on YouTube, Clark? 63% yes. So yes is winning in both regards, but some are writing in and saying, no, it's not for everyone. It's too expensive for some people. You're entitled to that opinion too. But where I grew up, there were poor kids, there were rich kids, there were in the middle kids. Anybody who wanted to play hockey was able to play hockey. There are programs, kids sport, all kinds of things. If you want to play hockey, I believe that you can play hockey. And if you can't afford to play hockey, you can play something else. Again, I'm not sure that's hockey's problem per se. I'd have to think about that. I'd like to think that all kids can play, but I understand that not everyone can play. How are you on the cost factor? of that argument.
That has hurt the game a little bit. It definitely has. And that happens with any business and organization, and even at a whole, the sport, it's going to go in a cycle. It has gotten really expensive. Ice time's really expensive. You got to have the latest gear. Sticks are $250 a pop. Like, there's a lot of things that go into it. And it feels like if you don't have the latest gear, if you don't, aren't going to extra ice time, if you're not having extra skills camps and things like that, that you're not going to be given the best opportunity to succeed. So it's really tough. And nobody's playing on the outdoor rinks really at scale anymore, or street hockey at scale. You got communities banning those things. That's tough, and so then they go do other sports like soccer, where it's very easy. All you need is a ball, and you don't even need cleats, a pair of whatever shoes you're wearing. There's other sports that are more accessible. So I think hockey will adjust for sure, but it's in a tough spot for those reasons.
I got more time for that. And let's not forget, hockey does not have to include skates per se. Remind me of Fort Lauderdale for a second. I want to read this comment from Arlen Bruce, AB3. CFL great has written in. He says, good poll question. Thank you. That's what I do. He says, growing up in a football city in Kansas, it was hard to get into learning the game of hockey. It was until I attended the University of Minnesota and learned more that now I watch. Jennifer at the Four Seasons says, I can't imagine my life without hockey. That's scary to me. Right. From Landry, he says, sports can and should be for everyone. Politics in sports should not be. Sports should be a getaway from everything else and just be enjoyed. And that's the thing. When the NHL left my home area, South Florida, during the NHL All-Star Week, they had left a legacy project behind. They said they were leaving an outdoor rink behind in Fort Lauderdale. I'm like, can't have an outdoor rink in Fort Lauderdale. I read a little further. No, it's for outdoor hockey. It's for road hockey. They're building a rink. But you don't need to skate. You can come out with a stick and a ball. That's enough for me. Yeah. Get kids playing it, and they're going to start watching it. I incidentally had that idea when I was brought in to meet with an NHL team in a Sun Belt city. I said, let's get them playing road hockey. Terrible idea. About 10 years ago, and that team continues to not be able to find its own ass with both hands. So anyways, we're going to break and get to the rest of the topics when we come back, including Lamar Jackson asking for a trade from the Baltimore Ravens. But I'll say it again, hockey's not the problem. People are the problem, just like, in my opinion, guns aren't the problem, drugs aren't the problem, gambling isn't the problem, addiction's the problem, people are the problem. Okay, so I don't like hockey being dragged through the mud on these societal issues, and I'm sure we'll never, ever. Oh, and that's the one thing. Let's just call the guy Carter that I was walking around here with, Darren, and he goes, oh, you make $7 million a year, you can't wear a rainbow jersey for 15 minutes? And I said, you can't make somebody do something they don't want to do. Like, literally, you can't. Here's the thing. Although I'm in recovery from addiction, I never tried drugs. You could hold me down, put a gun to my head, light me on fire. I wouldn't do drugs. I drank enough to fill the Atlantic Ocean, but I've never done drugs. You know what I mean? You can't make somebody not wear a jersey if they don't want to wear the jersey. But it's what it stands for, and I don't disrespect sticking by your beliefs. I just don't necessarily believe with the beliefs. This is the warm-up. We'll be right back. We're live on Game Plus Television, YouTube, and WQEE The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Peterson. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March, it's madness! Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock. Or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Still can't escape the snow in the foothills, and that's the sitch. As we begin a brand new week here in the beautiful gateway to the foothills, that is Tsuut'ina Nation and the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. We have messages and notes that have come in from the audience. We can bring the moose back in. From Troy Coaster, he says, "Morning, fellas. Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks again, Dupes, for emceeing our steak night fundraiser Saturday night. You did a hell of a job. Have a great show." Signed, Troy. I know he never misses a show, so Coaster's strong. Thank you for the kind words. And I should mention, don't miss comedian, actress, producer, and podcaster Whitney Cummins live at the Grey Eagle Event Center on Tuesday, April 25th. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.ca. I have to interject, Moose, in the middle of the quick six here is the breaking news today that's come down from Adam Schefter from ESPN. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson announced today that he asked Baltimore to trade him back on March 2nd. So 3 weeks ago, Jackson's announcement came at the exact time that Ravens coach John Harbaugh was set to speak to reporters at the league's annual meeting today. What's your first thought when you heard that today?
He's out. He's out. As soon as a player says, "I don't want to be part of the organization," there's really no going back. It's really difficult to go back on that. And that's really tough for Baltimore, who's a team that's right there. Yeah, it's right there. When Lamar is healthy and playing his best, they are a team that can contend for a Super Bowl. They're close. They're maybe not, in the top 3 or 4 teams in the NFL, but they're right there in that next tier of contenders. That's tough. And so now, the Ravens are going to have to move him. What's the asking price? I don't know. And now we start looking at what the options might be, because when he signed the non-exclusive franchise tag, what did we hear next? We heard all these teams saying, we're out, we're out, we're out. We didn't hear teams jumping saying, we'd like to look at negotiating. So we'll see if this changes now that it's a trade and it's not multiple first-round picks that would be compensation in a sign situation.
First thing I thought, and again, it was that Grey Eagle staffer that informed me of that. He was standing right on the stage. He goes, lots for you to talk about today. Lamar Jackson asked for a trade. I'm like, what? Apparently that's so 15 minutes ago. How do you not know that? That's today's sports world, right? I'm like, I don't know. I was watching SportsCenter this morning. Silly me, getting caught up on what happened on Sunday. No. It's Monday now. Things are new. That's the first thing I thought. Number two, I thought Lamar Jackson is what it is. The players are different now than they used to be. Aaron Rodgers at 37, 38. He doesn't want to play in Green Bay anymore. These things happen. How many people are 100% happy with their employer? And as Carter said, and this guy played pro ball, he's like, the players have too much power anymore. And I'm like, well, some do. Lamar Jackson is one that would, as a former league MVP. But when I heard that he was representing himself as his own agent, I thought, well, I don't know Lamar. He's from Pompano Beach, Florida. I know some people that know him, but I don't know him. He's either really smart or really flippin' stupid to represent himself. And I'm starting to realize, I think, that he's really dumb. It's not smart to represent yourself. And now ask for a trade. We're also at a time, I'm old school. I mean, I had people writing me about the combine, which I will get to eventually here. We got a lot to talk about today. You saw our Instagram story and social media. I got players coming up to the camera and smiling, waving. And people are like, what are they doing? They're at a combine. And I'm like, well, that's just the way the players are now. They had hip-hop music playing over the speakers, man. It's not that much different in the CFL than it is in the NFL. It's like, if you don't want to do the dishes, I'm not doing the dishes. That's Lamar Jackson. That's today's athlete, man. So you need to find a way to manage it or show him the door. And I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to play for the Baltimore Ravens next year. Do you? How could that be the case at this point?
No, and if you're the Ravens, I think at this point, as good as Lamar Jackson is, and he's a worldly talent, he is a unbelievable talent, you don't want him on your team. If you're Baltimore, if you're another organization, you can welcome him. But when you say, I don't want to play here anymore, you don't want somebody reluctantly playing for your organization. Are they really going to be all in? That's not going to happen. Lamar doesn't feel valued by the Baltimore Ravens. And when you don't feel valued because he's not getting the contract that he wants, then how do you go back? You don't. You have to move forward. So, he's not going to – I don't think he's going to play there. I think he'll get traded. It's just a matter of, look how long the Aaron Rodgers trade is taking. Baltimore's going to want their appropriate compensation. And it's a question of whether a team is willing to give it.
They're entitled to it. Yeah. Yes, and they're entitled to it. But Jalen Ramsey, Deshaun Watson, disgruntled players that want out. There's a very long list, Take this for what it is. But I've had far more messages to my phone from friends and viewers and stuff about the Florida Atlantic Owls going to the Final Four than I have about the WHL playoffs or junior hockey playoffs. I don't know what that means or what that says, but here we are. So point two, the Final Four of March Madness is set with UConn, Florida Atlantic, San Diego State, and Miami traveling to Houston next week to play for the national title. FAU, San Diego State, and Miami will be making their first appearances at college basketball's grand finale. The first time since 1970 that the three first-timers all showed up in the same year. So the matchups this Saturday are San Diego State versus FAU in a 5-versus-9 matchup. And then Miami against UConn. And that's not UConn, the territory. It's Connecticut, okay? A lot of people don't even know that. And yet, we're all big basketball fans. I mean, even in Boca Raton, talking to Serena, she said, everybody's sharing stuff on their social media now about the Owls. And it's like, when's the last time you went to a game? Like, I went and looked up FAU basketball's Twitter account. They get a little over 9,000 followers on Twitter. The FAU Owls going into this past weekend. The freaking Regina Pats got 30,000. That's more than 3 times as many. So they're not that popular even down there. And I go to the football team's games, FAU Owls. I've not gone to the basketball team's games, but because it's on TV, ooh, and it's on SportsCenter, more people are talking about it now than even Canadian sports. So there's my rant for the day, Moose. Stop the world. I want to get off. Your thoughts on March Madness Final Four?
It's wild. No number 1 seeds left. I mean, it's great. And having FAU in there is awesome. I think it's great. And you know what? I would say to the fans in South Florida, don't worry about the bandwagon jumpers coming on. I've heard the same things in Saskatoon when they were selling 15,000 seats for the Pats and Blades. Oh, it's not your team selling the tickets. It's Bedard. Oh, it's, these aren't fans who've been here all year. Or you're even a real fan.
I said that.
Well, yeah, but you have to start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. So get on board now. Jump on board if you're a FAU Owls fan, and hopefully you're going to buy your season tickets next year. And even if only a few do, we're going to be in a better spot. So enjoy the ride. Don't be angry about it, and have fun.
No, and I'm not. I'm McKay. But that's why Serena and I get along so well. We're so similar. Like, this reminds me of, again, we're going to get to the junior hockey playoffs maybe next hour. Because after all, we are in Canada. Let's not forget that. But you know me. I'll be there on day 1, and I'll be there on day 68, and I'll be there in the playoffs. I'll be there to the end. But I remember with the Pats one year, when I was the voice of the Pats for 20 seasons, TV and radio, competing radio station shows up for like game 7 of round 2, and they're handing out bumper stickers and mugs in the parking lot. And I go up to our marketing guy, Cliffy Mace. I'm like, what the hell? Go stop those losers. He goes, why? I said, they haven't been here all year. We've been broadcasting every preseason game. I've been at the damn inter-squad game. But these guys just show up for round 2 of the playoffs, and you're going to let them hand out stuff in the parking lot? What's wrong with you? Hey, more the merrier. So that's how the teams look at it, right? So sometimes I sit there and go, why do I show up from day? Why? If nobody's going to notice or care?
Well, that matters too, though. They do. I think that matters. I really do. Showing up and being there day in and day out. People don't necessarily recognize it daily, but over time, I think it has its value. But you're right. Like, with their approach to letting somebody else in on the day, the answer is, but they're here now. And so, it might not have been all year, but they're here now. And I hope they stay, and let's not turn them away, and let's do what we can to build this moving forward. But that's a funny example, because there is value, though, in showing up day in and day out, even if it's not recognized.
Sometimes I really wonder if there is. Based on life experience, I really wonder, why did I do that? So that's why you and I work well together. You have that view. I have mine. I'm not living with you. Don Tessier writes it. He says, Don in Mydale, great show. Thank you. Nelson from the Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says, just getting people in the building is enough to get people hooked. Yeah, I know. And probably FAU will sell out for the next 10 years. I don't doubt that for a second. I considered actually going to some games this winter, but I didn't. Basketball. I'm not going to pretend that I'm Johnny Basketball. By the way, if you love the timeless music of the Eagles, then you can't afford to miss Hotel California, the original Eagles tribute on April 27th. That's a Thursday. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.ca. I'm gonna keep rolling. Moose, you and I are gonna have to pick this up into hour 2. Are you good with that? If we do?
Oh yeah.
I literally haven't even hit half of what I wanted to get to today. So we will by the time we're done. How you doing, Mike? Good to see you. They're ripping darts down here. Let's go. It's Monday. Time to start a new week. The Canadian Football League Combine, presented by New Era, wrapped up at Commonwealth Stadium Fieldhouse in Edmonton on Sunday, following 5 days of intense learning. Drills and practice sessions. Prospects, coaches, and GMs will now set their sights on the CFL Draft and CFL Global Draft on May 2nd. The fifth and final day of the new revamped 5-day format included team practices, individual drills, a pass skeleton period, and a 12-on-12 scrimmage. I'm smiling. Well, CFL coaches from the league's 9-member clubs led positional groups and installed offenses and defenses. Did we lose Moose because I wanted to throw something at him, or can you bring him back?
Nope.
Carter was here, and he goes, how did the guys look? Who stood out? And I'm like, I wasn't evaluating, man. That's not my job. I went up there to shake hands, talk to people, politic. I wasn't paying attention. So don't ask me who was the best player at the Combine. Go to CFL.ca. But based on our coverage, Moose, how did it look? Because you were watching our story and
well,
stuff.
Of course, it looked awesome. And, you know, when you're there, you understand the value of it and how great it is in this league. It's just, you know, the rest of the country doesn't really get to see it. And this isn't a shot at the streaming or any of that stuff, but we really don't get to see what it's all about. So it was good to be able to kind of be there through the eyes of our social media channels. Thought that was a lot of fun. And it's always good to see Chris Jones, even if it's through an Instagram story. Like seeing that. There's some great personalities in this league, right? There's some amazing personalities.
Kevin the Medium is going to be with us an hour or two, and he's got some stories as to some stuff that went down with Chris Jones. Like, I went to go hug G-Roy's hand, and Jones jumped over Leroy, that's his brother, G-Roy, to shake my hand and tell me some stories about our mutual friend Joey down in Fort Lauderdale. That was what I went for. I didn't go watch the players. But the one player, I will say this, and it wasn't because people knew my connection to him, but Jackson Ford, defensive back of the U of R Rams. I've known him since he was born. His grandfather's Alan Ford, former general manager of the Rough Riders, holds the Grey Cup record for the longest punt in Grey Cup history. I believe it was 64 yards. Everybody was talking about Jackson Ford. Let's see if the Riders have the sense to draft him, because that's where he needs to go. Moose will pick this up an hour or two. Cool?
See you then.
Morley Scott, what do you think, Morley? He joins us next. I can't wait. From Edmonton, voice of the Elks, former color voice of the Oilers. We're live on TELUS Channel 924 on Game Plus Television, all across Canada on that channel. We're also live streaming on YouTube, your favorite podcast platform, and on WQEE, your southern home of sports and talk, 99.1 FM, The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven. And I'm Connor Bedard. We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for $25, 3 for $60, or 10 for $100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
How about that? The snow's still here, but that's cool. That's fine. Right there at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Get ready to sing along to all your favorite REO Speedwagon Classic hits Thursday, May 4th at the Grey Eagle Event Center. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.ca. A lot of people writing in with questions and so forth. I'm going to have to push them to the next segment because we got Morley Scott with us, the voice of the Edmonton Elks, formerly the Edmonton Eskimos, and the Oilers color man for how many seasons, Morley? 16? I ask you every time, but wasn't it 16?
I think so, yeah, 16. I remember every time, too.
That's what it said in the yearbook, Jim. Hey, John Ohm in Winnipeg. Says, what was your biggest takeaway from the Combine, Rod? Morley spent more time there than me, so I'll put that to you. What was your biggest takeaway from the CFL Combine in Edmonton on the weekend?
First time I've seen it, first time I've been at one, Rod, to me it was the enormity of it all. There was a lot of kids there, and I mean, you couldn't turn around and not bump into somebody from a CFL team, whether it be a coach, a GM, or a scout, or an assistant coach. There was just CFL people all over the place. Just the size of it, I think, impressed me more than anything else. So yeah, it was a pretty cool event to be at. I really liked the fact that they extended it this year and added those couple of 3 days of actual on-field activities with some 12-on-12s at the end of it. So it was a pretty good week.
Yeah, our director of scouting, Craig Smith, writes in, you'd know Smitty, two-time Grey Cup champion. He says that Jackson Ford's a hell of a player. Yes, and I would think he's first-round material, but I don't know. The CFL is such a crapshoot at draft. You never know who's going to go where and when. But I did talk with your Elks guys, and Morley, you and I had a great long chat. What is the outlook for the green and gold in 2023?
Well, better. I mean, they got to be better, right? I mean, they had a 4-win season last year, so you got to improve on that for sure. I think they've made the right moves over the offseason. They've really bolstered their offense. I mean, they've given Taylor Cornelius some target by bringing in those guys in free agency. I think they had a pretty good free agency with the 3 receivers they brought in, led by Geno Lewis and Stephen Dunbar and Kyron Moore. And you have high hopes for Josiah St. John as well, whom Chris Jones took with the Riders. That was the first pick he had with the Riders, first overall, when he went to Saskatchewan from Edmonton back in 2016. So he's been in Edmonton for a little bit, St. John has, but never got a chance to play. So they're going to get him an opportunity to play. They seem pretty high on him being able to get things rolling in his career. So I think they're better. They've made some pretty good moves in free agency on offense and on defense, especially picking up a couple of guys who teams released before free agency in Lucius Purifoy and AC Leonard. And I think they've really strengthened themselves in a lot of positions. And the big thing for the Elks is they got to stay healthy this year. They had so many injuries last year, and it really hurt them. And if they can stay healthy and, they made some good additions, I think they'll be a much better team than last year, and I think they might surprise a few people and really be in the race, maybe for second place in CFL West.
Our from the audience from Knights Crawler 62 writes in and says, watching from Burlington, Ontario. Great show. The home of Chris Schultz, the home of Jillian Barbery. Man, they produced some great ones out of Burlington, Ontario. Jeff the Stamps fan says, was Huff there or was it just Dave D? Everybody
I saw Huff there.
As a matter of fact, yeah, he was running back and forth behind you and I when we were talking, Morley.
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, it was pretty hard not to be there. I mean, I think I saw every GM and every head coach at the very least, plus, many of the scouting staff were there, and some of them were running the drills, running the practices, and lots of scouts were there as well. Agents were there. I mean, that was, if you're involved in the CFL, Edmonton was the place to be over the last week.
Yeah, we just got to get the fans in there, and that's the thing. In October, when word broke that Huff was going to step.
I was going to say, that's the thing about that facility is great for what the CFL wants to accomplish, because it's indoors, it's close to the Elks dressing room, so they got the medical facilities there. They got the gymnasium just downstairs as well, which they utilize for the vertical dump and the bench press. The only issue is there's not a lot of room for fans. And I think that's a big problem, because a lot of people wanted to watch it. A lot of people didn't like the fact that it wasn't being live streamed this year. There's a demand to see it. There just isn't a lot of room at the Commonwealth Fieldhouse for people to come in and sit down and watch it.
I want to get to the Oilers in the time we have left. They're at Arizona tonight. Where are we on the Oilers today in the City of Champions in the Alberta capital? On the bandwagon or off?
I think everybody's pretty happy with where they are. I mean, they got a puncher's chance at first place still, although they've fallen now 7 points back of Vegas with that overtime loss on Saturday night. They have Vegas tomorrow night. You got to win that one if you want to stay in the race for first place. But a win tomorrow night doesn't matter if you don't get a win tonight against the Arizona Coyotes. So they're in tough, I think, to finish first, but they're playing really well. They've got offensively, we know what they can do, right? They can outscore a lot of their mistakes, and that's a bright spot for them, because at times this year they've made a lot of mistakes. Still not great defensively, but better and getting better defensively. So I think they're in a pretty good spot heading down the stretch. I know Jay Woodcroft was saying after the game Saturday night that he doesn't really care about where they finish and who they play in the playoffs and where they land up in the standings. He just wants them to be playing a good style of hockey as they head into the playoffs in a couple of weeks.
I'm just looking at what the playoff matchups might be if they start today. And while I look that up, what's Matthias Ekholm meant? Looks like a lot. Well, they've won 5 in a row, have they not?
I've lost track of his stats, but at one point he had played 10 games. He was plus 15 and had 9 points. Everyone kind of expected the plus 15, but the 9 points was a bonus. And as he said, well, that's what you get when you play with 97. All right, you just generate a lot of points if you're on the ice with him. So he's been everything everybody expected and more coming into the lineup. Very steadying influence. I think where they'll really see his presence felt will be in the playoffs when he gets that matchup against the top line and he's hacking and whacking with that top line winger or forward with the LA Kings, who I think the Oilers are probably going to end up playing in the playoffs this year. So that's, I think, when we'll see what he's really worth and how valuable he can be.
Oilers, as it stands now, would line up against the Kings. We have less than a minute. Oilers, they won 7 against LA last year. I feel this is a far better LA team than last year.
Yeah, it's a better Oilers team than last year, too, though. So I think it'll be a good, long series just like last year, and it might come down to who gets the better goaltending.
Always does. Thank you, Morley. Always appreciate your time. Always like seeing you.
Anytime, Roddy. Take care.
The iconic Morley Scott, an original Ontario kid, as he informed me on Saturday there at the Fieldhouse. We'll be right back with a audience takeover. Did I do the sports up? No, I didn't do the sports update. Next hour, Moose will be here. Our new guy, Kevin, and Peter Anholt of the Lethbridge Hurricanes. We're live on Game Plus TV, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, The Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Peterson Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Peterson Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Peterson Show.
Beautiful morning in the foothills. We're at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino on the beautiful Tsuut'ina Nation. And we'll continue the frivolity coming up in hour 2. Peter Anholt will be with us, the general manager of the Lethbridge Hurricanes, recently named to Hockey Canada's management team for next year's World Jays. I never did get through all of my quick six show topics. Now would be a good time to do it. Wanted to mention golf. Sam Burns is the final winner of the Dell Match Play, and it was a dud of an ending. After so much excitement over 4 days at Austin Country Club in Texas, Burns beat Cameron Young in just 13 holes on Sunday. The 6-5 victory is the second largest margin over 18 holes in this tournament. Meanwhile, the big excitement was Sunday morning. Burns narrowly escaped defeating champion Scotty Scheffler in 21 holes. Young was down 2 to Rory McIlroy when he rallied to win in 19 holes. I turned on the radio Sunday morning here in Calgary as I was driving around, and they were talking about the play of Scotty Scheffler on the radio in Calgary, and I'm like, where am I? Flames won yesterday. They beat San Jose 5-3. What? Why am I hearing click? 0.5, John Morant scored 27 points in his return to the Memphis starting lineup, and the Grizzlies held off the Atlanta Hawks 123-119 for their 6th consecutive win. And in Toronto, OG Anunoby scored 29 points. Toronto never trailed, and the Raptors beat Washington 119-104. Ninth place, Toronto clinched the 3-game season series against the Wiz and maintained a 3-game lead over 11th place Washington in the Eastern Conference standings. And Aaron Judge and Anthony Rizzo both homered as the New York Yankees defeated Toronto Blue Jays 6-2 in spring training action. You're cheering for the Yankees, too? You live in Calgary, and you cheer for the Yankees and the Avalanche? You're just... He likes to annoy people, this guy. But so do I. I get it. The Jays resume their exhibition schedule Tuesday, or is that today? Yeah, today, against the Philadelphia Phillies. That's all I got on that. There are 6 games in the NHL tonight with 3 Canadian teams in action. The Edmonton Oilers, as we mentioned, 7-2 and 1 of their last 10. Visit Arizona. The Montreal Canadiens will play the Sabres in Buffalo, and the Ottawa Senators host the Florida Panthers, who have lost 3 in a row. Come on, Panthers. We got to get our act together. I want to see some playoff hockey in Florida this spring. And there are 8 games in the NBA, but the Raps are off, and the Hawks. This sports update is brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. Sign up now for Landmark Extras and see what's playing at landmarkcinemas.com. Here's what's on at the movies this week. Scream 6. Following the latest Ghostface killings, the 4 survivors leave Woodsboro behind and start a fresh chapter. Courtney Cox is in it, too, by the way, just so you know. And Dermot Mulroney. And it's scary. I'm going to tell you it's scary. And also, if you're a Landmark Extras member, which I am, free refills on pop and popcorn. You're welcome. Don't tell me thank you. Tell them. So what do we have? Couple minutes left here. Poll question. Do we have any update? What are they saying on YouTube, Clark, regarding today's poll question? Is hockey for everyone? I voted a staunch yes. 60% saying yes on YouTube. That's flattening, though, sounds like. 77% on Twitter saying yes, hockey's for everyone. I believe hockey's for everyone. If you want to talk that it's too expensive, then we can have a conversation about that, and I could probably steer you in the right direction of a community program whereby you could play and get your equipment covered. Kids sport and that kind of. I'm talking about race, sexual orientation, gender, that kind of thing. Last minute of play in hour 1. I believe hockey's for everyone. Hockey's not the problem. People are. There are a lot of Yankees fans in Canada. Craig, our director of scouting, writes in, says, "Go Yankees." Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, should all Albertans unite behind the Oilers for the 2023 Stanley Cup playoffs, or should we keep our tribal colors? How about you do whatever you want? That's what we are advocates of. You do you. You want to cheer for the Oilers in this town, and you're a lifelong Flames fan, you're taking your life into your own hands. Don't say we didn't warn you. Ron McLean warned me. He's like, don't wear your Golden Knights or Panthers stuff in Calgary. And if you've noticed, I haven't. We'll keep it rolling from Grey Eagle right after this brief pause on Game Plus and WQEE Radio.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com.
She could be cool
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for 25, 3 for 60, or 10 for 100, but there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Some leather-lunged New Yorker. He's cheering for the Panthers, but he's behind me, and he was making all these jokes. He's like, yeah, the Panthers are losing by a hair. You know, I heard these Florida fans are rabid, but this is ridiculous. Anyways, and then security came down. Woo, right from everybody, because the rabbit's not hurting anybody. I was kind of hoping the rabbit would crap all over the kids.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show. And I always want to talk about the context of that intro. That was this winter when a young fan, I want to say about 18 years of age, snuck a rabbit into the Panthers game. And he was sitting next section over from me. It was quite funny, and they kicked the kid out. Apparently, you can't sneak wild animals into sports venues. How about casinos? No? And we got security here watching us right now. They'll let Avalanche fans in, though. Welcome to Hour 2 of your favorite daytime sports talk show. I'll handle it. Moose, you with us? Darren Moose DuPont. Hey, we got action down here, man, at the Grey Eagle. You said you were thinking about coming to Calgary. You got to get out of here. We got action going.
That's unreal.
Live studio.
And I know the Avs fan you're talking about.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear him? Yeah. So I work alone. I work alone. Take your earbud out. We got a lot going on, Moose, listen, I'm sitting here. We haven't even talked about the NLL and probably won't. And not that I don't like it or anything, but it's a hockey country. Everybody's got an opinion, just like everybody's got a belly button. Everybody's got an opinion. And I was with the family this weekend, as you know. We went to a Japanese steakhouse on Sunday for a family get-together, and it was awesome. And I got a cousin who played junior hockey. And you know, in Canada, if you played junior hockey or in any way associated with junior hockey, you know everything there is about junior hockey. And I don't say that facetiously because I love this kid. And we were talking about Connor Bedard. And before I go full squirrel, more people blowing up my phone about the FAU, Florida Atlantic University Owls making the Final Four in March Madness than talking about the junior hockey playoffs. And I have a bit of a problem with that. But on the flip side, I watched Sports Center this morning as I worked out, and it was way more about March Madness than it was about junior hockey. So how can you blame people because they just go by what they see? That's a fact. I know it as a guy that's worked in this business for over 30 years. But just on the Connor Bedard thing, the dub we got coming up later on this hour, Peter Anholt, the general manager of the Lethbridge Hurricanes, is going to be with us. They're going to play the Moose Jaw Warriors in round 1 of the playoffs. It's my Regina Pats against your Saskatoon Blades in round 1. The big question, which, by the way, I tried to ignite on our Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram today, is who's going to win, Pats or Blades? How do the Blades neutralize the holy child, Connor Bedard? There wasn't a lot of reaction because everybody's talking about the NHL and March Madness because why? That's all they're talking about on SportsCenter. But with Connor Bedard, my cousin said, sorry, Ethan, to throw you out like this and out you this way, but he goes, I don't like Bedard's attitude. And I said, how would you know anything about his attitude? You don't know him. You've never seen him away from the rink. And he goes, no, but I've watched him on television every game, and I don't like how he sticks guys, jabs guys, cross-checks guys. And I'm like, hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion. What did I say earlier? I don't like to fight anymore, especially at my advanced age. Not that far from being eligible for the Masters category, or even seniors at some buffet restaurants. So I don't want to fight. But I kind of sit there and go, how much do you expect a kid to put up with? Because I've seen him play live multiple times, seen him play on television multiple times. He puts up with a lot of crap. So does Sidney Crosby. Whenever Connor McDavid finally has had enough, and remember he elbowed Kotkaniemi that night in Montreal? Ooh, he's got an attitude. Sometimes enough's enough. I don't have a problem at all with the way Connor Bedard plays. Do you?
I'm glad you brought up Sidney Crosby. That was my comparison. Like, play with a little bit of an edge. You get to the net. You're not afraid. Is a little bit of an undersized guy. And Crosby, I would say, is a little undersized. Like, he's not 6'4" walking around. You know, McDavid's a little taller, a little bigger. McDavid doesn't really get into the front of the net and do those things and get involved after the whistle and stuff. But Crosby does. He'll push back and he'll say, look, you're not just going to get shots on me. I'm going to be here. And Bedard's saying the same thing. Hey, I'm a little smaller, and a little younger, but I'm not backing down. And I like that. You know, I don't think we're not talking about cheap shots here. We're not talking about cheap shots. Just feistiness and just letting everybody know that you're sticking around and you're not just going to fold if you put a little pressure on them. So I like it.
I love this country in that everybody has an opinion on Connor Bedard. It is wild. And I'm here to listen to all of them, but I'm not necessarily here to agree with all of them. Kevin the Medium is in the house, and he says, I'm feeling a bet is coming between Moose and Rod. What do you think it should be? We got 5 days to think about it, which is another thing, man. I'm sitting here just salivating because I've said many times junior hockey is my thing. I'm like, I want a dub playoff preview. Where is it? I want a dub preview. Come on, WHL.ca. As you know, it's not going to be in the Leader Post anymore, the Calgary Herald, or where it used to be. So I went to Greg. I broke down and went to my good friend Greg Drinnan's blog today. And I don't know if these were his stats or they were provided by the teams or the league, but he has a wonderful, gregdrinnan.com, wonderful breakdown of all the WHL first round series, the season series, and all the rest. But it's not even on television anymore. You almost wonder if how many people care. Now, on the flip side, I'm sitting here at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino in Calgary. The Medicine Hat Tigers are in the playoffs. The Lethbridge Hurricanes are in the playoffs. The Calgary Hitmen are in the playoffs. The Red Deer Rebels are in the playoffs. You can't tell me there aren't thousands, if not even potentially millions of people that are interested in it. Maybe not, but I know I am. That should get some people interested, I would think.
Yeah, you know, it should. It should be interesting. I mean, it is a lot of fun. And this is, you know, you talk about this being, for you, the best time of the year. It's really darn good. And, you know, you got to find a way to get people interested. And at the junior hockey level, it's got to be Bedard and the Regina Pats. And there's other rivalries happening out west. And, you know, I'm glad you went to Greg's blog because, you know, somebody's got to provide this info. And it's fun when you really get involved with it and follow it day in and day out. It's a ton of fun being involved in junior hockey playoffs.
Buy your tickets and go. Now's the time. and my mind is clearly pinballing all over the place regarding my age of 50. And let's not forget our age demographic of viewers on television on Game Plus, because we're daytime. We own the 55-plus age demographic. So thank you for joining us. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says 5 more years, Rod, and seniors discounts will start to roll in.
How about that?
If you're satisfied with smaller food portions. Hey, ever been to the Golden Corral? Shoot! The average person can get in there for $13.99. I think the old people, it's like $6.99. Golden Corral, I'll eat there every day. Are you kidding? Even $13.99 is great. Plus, they let you fill up a doggy bag. What? Terry in Calgary says, you're old, Rod. I've got shoes that are 50. And listen, I don't want to go too far off a segue here other than to say this. I sit here and I really do wish that my dad was alive. And you're fortunate, Moose, because your parents are alive. Both my parents are gone. But I want to go to my dad. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Although I did kind of say that before he died. But I'm like, you were trying to tell me everything. But no, I had to touch the burner myself in life. Time after time after time after time. You got to figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell the younger, no, you don't know anything. I guess I don't know anything. Colin in Ottawa says, yeah, Rod, but TSN shows us all this NCAA basketball because the people want checks, notes, to know how bad their March Madness brackets were broken. All I can say is they do what they do, we do what we do. I like the March Madness, too. I like NCAA, college sports. I like all of that. But I'm not going to sit here and talk about it. Like, I sit here and think, because you've roomed with me, I think, Darren, we've stayed together. You've seen my television just runs on a loop all day on SportsCenter or Sportsnet Connected. And I've had people in my room go, how come you've had this on air like 5 times? And I'm like, because I might miss something. But rarely are they talking about what we would talk about on the air. Like the CFL Combine, for instance. What are you, 35 now? 35?
Yeah.
Are you more interested in what happened at the Combine on the weekend or the fact that Lamar Jackson, we learned, has asked for a trade from the Baltimore Ravens? He actually asked for it on March 2nd, but we just learned today that he did. You can be interested in both, but if you had to pick one.
Yeah, it's Lamar Jackson. For sure. You know? Yeah, and you know that. I mean, it comes down to the significance of what it means to what I'm following and viewing and things like that. Doesn't mean I'm not viewing the CFL and following that very intimately. I'm a huge fan of the CFL. But part of it's coverage, part of it's, what does it mean? You have to tell me why these things are important and why I need to be tuning in. And what does this matter for my viewing habits? When I look at, the Combine, now I'm intimately interested. You mentioned the Jackson Fords. That's part of what I do, calling university football. I follow these kids, so I'm personally interested in how they're doing. But they're not necessarily going to be drafting, the next Lamar Jackson from the CFL draft. So these names aren't household names coming into the CFL. Maybe they should be, but that's why we don't follow it as closely.
It's 11:11 a Mountain, by the way, 1:11 Eastern. Just pointing that out. Visualize a positive outcome. Trust me, I'm trying. And I appreciate those that have jumped into the chat and want to direct the conversation with what they want to talk about, but we can't do that. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. And I will just say this, like Jackson Ford coming out of day 5 of the CFL Combine. Again, his grandfather's Alan Ford. The family has a hell of a personal story, a tragic one in a lot of ways, and this is kind of the nice summation to it. But how many people know? Like hardly anybody outside of Regina know the name Jackson Ford, and I would suggest the majority in Regina don't. And for those that ask me who stood out at the Combine, I'm like, that ain't my job anymore. I didn't go up there to evaluate players. At one time, I probably would have passed that along. And the reason I bring that up is Craig Smith, our director of scouting, writes in regarding Connor Bedard, and he says, I think Bedard is just showing he can take care of himself. I think his attitude is good. That's the thing when everybody has an opinion. It's fun. It was fun to sit there. I spent most of the day with my young cousin yesterday, the one who played Junior A and Junior B out here in Alberta, BC. I listened to him, but I didn't necessarily agree with it. If we can sit and listen to everybody's opinion and not argue and fight, that's fine. But with Smitty there, I was telling Kevin, who's going to join us in the next segment, how my dad taught me to scout in hockey. It's a kind of intricate system, and I just transferred that to football. Because here's Smitty, a two-time Grey Cup champion, offering his thoughts on Bedard, and I'll listen to what Smitty has to say because the concepts are transferable, sport to sport to sport. You know, because I've had people say to me, how do you know football so well? You never played it. I really don't. But I learned this from my dad. I'm like, he was pretty good at that. Hockey scouting. Let me try this with football. And it worked. Not like I'm being hired to be the general manager of a football team anytime soon. Nor am I of a hockey team. But anyways, trying to keep on point, if there ever was one. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says TSN Plus was developed to bring us more sports. Thus far, we have gotten 26 different cameras of golf and 36 different cameras of F1 racing. Yeah, but you're getting NLL. I feel like TSN's just shuffling off the sports they don't want to put on TV to TSN Plus. Because I was talking to the NLL guys at the sold-out 17,444 Calgary Roughnecks Saskatchewan Rush game here, and they're like, look at this crowd. They're selling out in a lot of venues, and like, we're not getting the TV numbers we'd like. And it's like, well, TSN doesn't feel enough about you to put you on television Friday nights. They're putting you on streaming. But again, that's their channel, so they can do whatever the hell they want. Not a criticism, but where are you on that, Moose? We only got a couple minutes left with you.
I know we do. Again, you have to be realistic about where you are as a league and an organization and what's your real product right now. You know, we grew up watching some NLL, but it was said to me once, we didn't grow up watching Lacrosse Night in Canada, right? We didn't. So are we that interested in following the ins and outs and the standings and all that stuff? Not yet. But we go to the games because it's a hell of a great product, and it's a great party, and everything's awesome about it, and it's fun, and the games are great. Just trust the process. They're building the foundations, and as the kids are playing it, they're going to want to consume the shows and everything else as they get older.
Yeah.
So those things, I think, are coming.
By the way, we have an NHL scout texting in regarding Bedard and the way he plays, and he says, we won't name him, but he says, who cares if you play a little chippy? There are refs to control that. Brad Marchand is a heck of a player, and he plays with an edge. Again, these are just everybody's opinion. This came from a former junior who didn't like Bedard's attitude on the ice. I don't have a problem with it. It's interesting, by the way, with the hockey people that watch the show. I'm walking into the Saddledome on Saturday. Walking out is a guy in a long trench coat, a scout fit, as they like to say, a scout outfit, a scout fit. And he was like, Rod, Pedersen? I'm like, yeah. He goes, Brad Meyer. You remember old Brad Oscar Meyer?
Yeah.
He just hung him up last year, did he not? NHL referee. And I'm like, how's retirement, Oscar? And he just kind of gave me a look like, still working. Brad Meyer. So it was nice to see him. So the hockey guys are all in tune with what we do. Okay, Kevin, come on up. I'm going to call an audible here. Moose, I'm going to bid you adieu.
Yep.
Thanks for all you do. Great day.
Have a great day.
And Peter Anholt from NAKEM, where they make him, the general manager of the Lethbridge Hurricanes, is logged in. So, Clark, let's bring him in to start off next segment. We won't keep him waiting, and then we'll keep on moving with what we do. We're live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino in Calgary on Game Plus Television Network, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and WQEE The Key.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for 25, 3 for 60, or 10 for 100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of fun. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Good look at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Get ready to sing along to all your favorite REO Speedwagon Classic hits Thursday, May 4th at the Grey Eagle Event Center. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.ca. As I said, we're going to call an audible and bring him in now. Our good friend Peter Anholt, the general manager of the Lethbridge Hurricanes, just named to the management team of Hockey Canada for next year's World J Squad. Pete, welcome back to the RP Show. Congratulations on the appointment and clinching a playoff spot with the Canes. Life must be good down there.
Yeah, thanks, Rod. Thanks for having me. You kicked Darren off the panel here, though. Like you tubed him, but that's okay. Well, we can handle this.
I think you and I can handle it for a while. Yeah, we're fine. Hey, you heard us talking about Bedard earlier. Without saying as much as you can, Pete, but you could handle it. How are you with his style of play? That he didn't mind getting his stick or his elbow up. I don't have a problem with it, but your thoughts watching him from the other side?
Love it. You gotta create some room for yourself once in a while, and that's the way it is. It's not an easy game. It's a hard game, and anybody that thinks it's easy don't understand how hard this game is.
Sure, and it's only going to get harder for him, and it's been a lot of fun to watch, and I love that he's answered the bell each and every time he's been asked to. So let's start with the Hockey Canada thing, and then we'll preview the Canes and Warriors, if you don't mind. Pete, that announcement came down last week. How excited are you to be part of this group with Hockey Canada?
It's hard to really put in words, Rod. I think that whenever you represent your country and the honor to represent our great country in the sport of hockey is quite an honor. And when you kind of think back to growing up in a small town of Nacum, Saskatchewan, and being able to represent Nacum at the World Junior level, that's fantastic. And and to work closely with Al Miller, who's a really good friend of mine, and of course Scott Salmon, It's going to be really, really exciting. Who knows how the team is going to look at this point? We're quite a few months away, but I think we should be okay. So really, really honored, obviously, and excited about the opportunity.
By the way, you brought up Nacum, and you must know Chris Beaudry, former assistant coach of the Humboldt Broncos. He's also from Nacum, and he goes, Rod, they love it up there when you say Nacum where they make him. So, well, I always got to throw that in there. Pete, what is your role now? Are you would you be scouting for next year's team? What are you doing to get ready for that?
Well, you work in conjunction with Al and Byron Benora, and I think we continue to have lots of calls. Certainly, rounding out the staff is first and foremost on the agenda. There is a depth chart in play already as far as who is on the radar. Al has gotten out lots already. We talk a lot about the players or potential players for possible camp in the summer, but also then going into the fall and into December of next year. I think it's always really important to point out there's always 19-year-olds that pop in their 19th-year-old year for the World Junior team. So you're always keeping an open mind. I think there's certainly some elite players that we all think are in the mix for the team, and they certainly are. But I also think, Rod, that it's really important to keep in mind this isn't an all-star team. This is a team that we're working to win a world championship and to play against the top teams in the world. So, I think it's really important to point out. Otherwise, you could just look at points and pull off the top point getters of any league and go that route. But that's not the way it works. You're building a team that's going to win a championship.
If they don't know that by now, they're probably never going to know it. But I get it. I get it. Are you getting asked if Bedard will be on the team next year, or what you think the chances are? If not, I'll ask you right now.
Well, I think it's like any NHL drafted player, a top player. Who knows? I mean, those are conversations with the NHL teams throughout the process. And hey, anytime you can add an elite player from the NHL, great. I think that's always a great situation, and we saw it last year, of course, with 3 players joining the team last year, and were very important in the World Championship last year. So that's a process. I think you have them in the back of your mind, but that's really out of your control. You go with the players that are going to be available, and whether Connor would be available or Shane Wright again, possibly, guys like that. So.
Gotcha. So to this series for the Canes, you're opening up on the road at Moose Jaw. The Warriors won the season series 3-1. I was reading up on that today. What's your thoughts on the series? You've been through a few of these wars. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you know what? I think we have a pretty good idea how our team's got to play to be successful. We're a big, strong team. We're hard to play against on most nights. We rely on our back end and our goaltending to keep us in games. We don't score easy, but we find ways to get enough on any given night. We know that Moose Jaw is one of the most talented teams in the league. With the number of players that they have on their team that are NHL prospects. So, I think it's going to be a real hard series. I think it's going to be interesting in the way the two different teams play, because it's quite a contrast, I think. But let's push the series out as long as we can. and make it a hard series and make it a hard series for their players.
Well said, Pete. You've done a few of those. You didn't say anything, really. Sheldon Lasham, by the way, writes in. Sheldon says, "Hi, Peter. Old Nacum Vikings AA alumni here." Sheldon is the director of entertainment at Grey. You could probably remember him, Wynyard Kid. There's the, wants to say hey. Awesome. He loves the hockey talk. Yeah, it's funny you say that, though, because from where I'm from, what do I hear about all the time? Jagger Fergus, Braden Jagger, Matejchuk, like legit stars, right? I don't hear a lot about Canes individual players, and you're probably okay with that, I would think.
Yeah, I think, Rod, the thing about our team, we've basically flown under the radar all year long. And we're okay with that. We get that. We don't have any NHL picks on our team. We don't, but we've got a lot of experience. We got some size. I think that the addition of Cole Shepherd has been a really important addition for our hockey club. Because he gives us some speed up front and some experience, and and other guys have just rounded into really good players, and but our team is really built on our back end. I think, Rod, more than anything, we're old, we're big, we're strong, and then you add into guys like Tristan Doyle, a 16-year-old D, and Chadwick, and so those guys are really important for us. And of course, McCutcheon, who's a Saskatoon kid. And, you look at that back end, there's, I think, 4 guys that are from Saskatchewan. So we've dug into the Saskatchewan groups a lot, and they've done well for us.
Well, Pete, I appreciate the time. Congrats on all the great things you got going on. Play well, play strong. I'm going to be down there. Some of my best friends are in Lethbridge, and Perry S. Hockey and Rich Sutter. They've extended the invite to come down and watch some, so I'll be there. Thanks, Pete. I'll look you up.
Awesome. I'll see you down there.
Thanks, bud. The general manager of the Lethbridge Hurricanes and a Prince Albert Raiders great. I always got to throw that in there, Peter Anholt. Okay, Kevin, sit up. Have a look in the camera. You weren't ready for that. Whoa, there we go. We got Kevin, the medium, with us. How you doing, Kevin? Kevin, I can't even call you that anymore. Kevin Hughes. You're joining the Team RP.
I am joining Team RP.
Yeah, okay, so pull that microphone right in front of your mouth there.
How's that?
There, yeah, that's good.
Better?
Yeah, we do have a live studio audience. So it was hot potato, huh? Jump right from Pete to Kevin. And we got things to get to with Kev. I just, from the audience, Ron Galbraith, he is in Drumheller, Alberta. He's written in on the 902 text line, because you've been sitting here for what, since the start of hour 2, pretty much, a little before hour 2. So you've heard everything I've been talking about. Ron Galbraith says, "I can see your dad shaking his head after you touch the burner." Your dad.
He still is.
You know the feel. Kevin, the media. Yeah. Told you not to You got to figure it out on your own, right? Sean in Vancouver writes in. He says, "My RP Show hat arrived over the weekend. I encourage everyone to get their RP Show gear. It's quality. Have a good week, ladies and gents." Thank you, Sean in Vancouver, watching on Game Plus. And that's a wonderful segue into what I wanted to. I'm looking at the Under Armour logo on my jacket here. We do have quality stuff. Kevin has joined our program in an official capacity with the RP Show Corp. I think the title is Sales Coordinator.
I think that's what I named myself.
Yeah, well, a title's a title.
A title is just a title. But yeah, I'm joined. I'm going to be trying to handle all the sales and the marketing.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Darren this morning, and I said, what are we getting into here with Kevin in terms of the duties that you're putting on this guy? And he goes, he's wearing a lot of hats.
And I love hats. So well, speaking of hats.
Sean just said he just got his RP Show hat, yes. Quality gear. So,
you know what? You and I met 9 months ago now.
July 2nd, 2022.
Last year. And have watched the show pretty much every day. And you and I have become good friends. And it was just a natural progression, I think. I've been in sales all my life, and it was just a natural progression for me as you and I talk more and more, to jump on board and take this to the level we need to take it.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of what Kevin's going to be doing with us, folks. But he's here to talk some sports, not just business. And we were at the CFL Combine together on the weekend. I know you have some thoughts on that I want to get to. And for the rest of the way, we're just going to have some big fun. So we're going to take a timeout a little bit earlier. Here's a cue for our board operators at WQEE in Atlanta, Game Plus in Toronto, and at the Millennium Falcon at IKS Studio. We're going to take a timeout, be back with a sports update, and I'm going to do viewer takeover and listener takeover the rest of the way. Are you cool with answering some questions?
I am cool with answering
Man, and we had
anything.
some interesting discussion today, if you've noticed.
It's been all over the board.
It's the RP
good.
show. I'm all over the board. It's very, truly emblematic of the show host. We'll be right back to Grey Eagle after this timeout on Game Plus Television, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
It's March, it's madness! Capital GMC Buick Cadillac has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Capital has Sierra 1500s with rates starting as low as 1.49%. Over 400 new vehicles in stock, or drive away in a GM certified pre-owned vehicle. They all come with a 150 plus point inspection and a 3-month warranty. It's March, it's madness! On now at Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Saskatchewan's #1 GM retailer, capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
beat. I gotta hit the beat.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Peterson Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Peterson Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Peterson Show.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, the place to be. Calgary's entertainment destination, right in the, we're the gateway to the foothills. Look us up if you're booking your summer getaway. Get on it now. All right, Kevin Hughes is with us. You know him as Kevin the Medium, but I don't know. Are we going to continue referring to you as such, Kev? What would you?
You can call me anything you want.
Are you sure? I like Kevin the Medium.
Kevin the Medium works for me. It's
good.
what I do with my other hat on. Like you say, I wear a bunch of different hats, so you can call me whatever you feel like.
Well, I think the viewers will like this, and we will get around to the NHL. What did I see today? He came with me to the CFL Combine on the weekend, and I just want to hear your story with your words as to what you saw. But before we do that, I read earlier that the Vancouver Canucks were winners in the National Hockey League Sunday. They've won 10 of their last 12. I saw.
I was texting with my son Jake last night.
Yes.
And there's 9 games left. If the Canucks win out, and a couple teams up top there crap the bed, could we make the playoffs?
Oh, stop. That's what you. Well, I asked your opinion, so I shouldn't denigrate your opinion, but
they're one of the hottest teams in the league right now. They're 8-2 in the last 10. They played some of the top teams in the league. Is it a case of they're playing better, or is it a case of teams taking them lightly and putting in their backup goalies? And I don't know. Is it the new coach bump?
The dead cat bounce, as some like to say it.
Yes. I'm enjoying watching the games.
Good, because that's new.
Well, and it was funny because 10 games ago I was getting mad because they're winning. Now I'm watching the games going, wow, this is actually fun again. Hockey's fun again.
Yeah. Well, let's just remember they did that last year.
And the year before. And the year before.
I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, and I don't want to pee on your parade, but from Craig Smith, our director of scouting, says, welcome to the team, Kevin.
Thank you.
And he says, great top. That is nice.
That is.
Where'd you get that?
Jake got it for me, actually. I think it was I don't know if it was a birthday gift or a Father's Day gift, but brings you back to the Vancouver Millionaires, the only Vancouver team to be on the Stanley Cup.
Interesting. From Colin in Ottawa, he says, Kevin's great bunny hug reminds me of the great retro jerseys the Vancouver Canucks have. From the horizontal hockey stick to the Pavel Bure flying skate, they are beauties. The Canucks lead the NHL in jerseys, I will say that. They've got some great jerseys.
They've had some great ones, but they've had some really bad ones.
What would you say is a really bad one?
I called them the PJs, the pajama ones.
The V?
The V, similar to this, but in the colors. It looked like they were wearing their PJs out on the ice. Didn't like them.
Ooh.
I'm not a huge fan. I'm going to kind of go against everything, and I'm not a huge fan of the flying skate. Was never one of my favorite jerseys. I like their current jerseys. I think they're pretty nice.
Well, I think that's the interesting thing is people have this expectation, and it's kind of our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. It goes along with that, which I guess you can throw up the graphic if you want, guys. Is hockey for everyone? And right out of the gate, I mean, I voted yes. Darren voted no. 82%, the first I saw on Twitter, were saying yes, hockey's for everyone, and then it's gone down into the 70s, and on Twitter it's like in the 60s%. Yes, hockey's for everyone. We're not all going to get along, okay? I don't like the Vancouver Canucks. Doesn't mean we can't be friends. Like, why can we not all get along? And when I think of the V, I had one of those jerseys as a kid, and I think of Tiger Williams and Rich Sutter. Great memories of that. And the skate's pretty cool, too. That was a good era. You guys went to the Stanley Cup in '94.
We did. Game 7 again. Game 7. Yeah,
why
do you always have to hurt my heart like that, Rod?
Yeah.
You brought that up on the drive back from Edmonton.
Did I?
Yeah.
Good segue, by the way. We went up to the CFL Combine, which it's interesting. Morley Scott was on here last hour, the voice of the Elks, saying that was his first and how he was overwhelmed or struck by the overall size of the thing. And it's like, I've been to so many of those, or the U.S. camps we've had in Florida. I wasn't that blown away, but hey, it was your first time, so what'd you think?
Blown away would be putting it mildly. Been a lifelong CFL fan. As I told you before, I grew up just blocks away from the old Empire Stadium. So to be able to go to something like that where the general public doesn't usually get to go, and like I said to you, I got to peek behind the curtain. It was really cool to see. It was, at first I was watching the drills and watching the players, but then I started watching the coaches and what they were watching. And it was really cool to see the interaction between the coaches, not just coaches of the same team, but coaches from different teams. And you could see they're pointing at different players and making their notes. It was cool to see.
Yeah, well, it's Kevin grew up playing football, by the way, in East Van. So that's why you identify, right?
Yes.
As a BC Lions fan and a CFL fan.
I mean, growing up just down the road, we used to be able to go to the games. All you had to do was eat, I think it was 3 bags of Old Dutch potato chips and bring those to the gate. And you remember the old Empire Stadium.
I was never there, but I know the area because we had a temporary stadium there in 2010.
They had the big scoreboard, and then it was a grass hill. With the 3 Old Dutch potato chip bags, you got to sit on the grass hill in the end zone and watch the game. So we would go, there'd be like 10 of us kids sitting on it. It was such great memories. It was like the best thing to do.
Who did you specifically enjoy seeing the most?
In Edmonton? G. Simon, of course.
Tell the story.
G. Simon, he had actually walked up. I have a video of him spinning a football on his fingers, and even the greatest drop it. I did get a video of him dropping the football. We were getting ready to leave, and we kind of walked down the concourse, and G-Roy spotted Rod, and right in the middle of a conversation with his head coach, Chris Jones, stops talking, comes over, gives Rod a big hug, introduces himself to me like I'm his lost long buddy.
Like you wouldn't know who he was. He's like,
well, yeah.
I'm G-Roy Simon. And you're like,
of course you're G-Roy Simon. But
that's
just
him,
the way he interacted, I mean, he just showed how good of a guy he is. And I've heard stories that he's just that kind of guy. What you see is what you get with G-Roy. And we literally sat and had a five-minute conversation while you and Chris were talking. I have no idea what you guys were talking about because really it didn't matter. I was talking to G-Roy Simon.
Yeah.
I almost swore there. I caught myself.
Good thing you didn't. Chris Jones and I were talking about Cafe Seville in Fort Lauderdale and our mutual friend Joey, who owns and runs it, and how Joey's got his thoughts on the Elks. The guy that owns and runs the restaurant in Fort Lauderdale, and this season coming up. From Jack in Vulcan, Alberta, he says, welcome, Kevin the Medium. Any friend of Rod's is a friend of mine.
Nice.
There you go.
Thank you.
The viewers are talking about those old Canucks jerseys and what they think of when they see them. Where the heck did it go here? From Swerve in Calgary? No, I'm sorry. A lot of comments coming in here. Stan Smeal, Richard Brodeur.
Yes, King Richard.
Somebody wrote in Harold Snaps. Allie in Texarkana says, hey, Kevin.
Nice.
There you go. Getting quite a nice welcome here. From Jake Hughes. You know him?
Sometimes. Depends what he's doing.
His son, Jake, the two run a sports podcast on the Canucks and the Lions.
On the Canucks and the Lions. And we're going to kind of morph it into a lot of CFL talk as well. General.
Good, because the CFL deserves it. Jake says a bit behind the live video. The Canucks love changing jerseys. I think it's time for a new one. They got the retro jerseys. They got stop with the jerseys, NHL.
Jake is just trying to get Dad to buy him a new jersey.
Yeah, there you go.
That's all it is.
When we come back, full-on audience takeover, 902-518-3033. Write us right now with any business-related questions, NHL, NFL, CFL, whatever's on your mind. We'll take a look at tonight's sked in all of sports. We'll be right back on Game Plus Television, YouTube, iHeartRadio, your favorite podcast platform, and your southern home of sports and talk, WQEE, The Key.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902 518 3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
It's March. It's madness. Capital Ford has gone mad with crazy low pricing throughout the store. Save up to $7,000 on a brand new F-150. They have over 150 available right now. Or drive home in a new to you used vehicle. Plus, Capital Ford offers the highest guaranteed trade-in value, or they'll give you $500 cash. Get your hands on a new ride before they come to their senses. On now at Capital Ford. Visit CapitalFordLincoln.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I gotta hit the beat.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
The SJHL raffle is underway with your chance to win a brand new Polaris side-by-side, courtesy the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Tickets are available now until April 23rd, with the draw taking place live on SJHL Insiders April 27th. 1 for 25, 3 for 60, or 10 for 100. But there are only 5,000 tickets available. Get yours today at sjhlraffle.ca.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Here we go. The Great Eight. Right, Clark? Yeah, we're live from the Grey Eagle Event Center. Overtime's brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace, your home for the UFC and the National Hockey League, 909 Arcola Avenue East. And we have Kevin, the medium, with us here in overtime. Just having fun, talking sports. It's what we do. Swerve writes in and says, where did it go? Said he's on the bets tonight. Man, it's just weird. There's ghosts and gremlins all over the place. I lost the comment. But here's your schedule. The Florida Panthers are at Ottawa, and the Panthers have lost 3 in a row. Like rubber meets the road time in the National Hockey League. Montreal's at Buffalo. The New Jersey Devils are at the Islanders. New Jersey clinched a playoff spot over the weekend. Seattle's at Minnesota. Colorado at Anaheim. Edmonton at Arizona. Matinees in Major League Baseball involving our good friends, the Atlanta Braves. Shout out Atlanta, WQEE. And the Blue Jays taking on the Phillies. And in the NBA, the Raptors and Hawks are off. But let me ask you this. This is somewhat new for our Sask viewers because a lot of them are born and raised. They wouldn't see it this different way. You're from Vancouver, a Lions and Canucks fan, living by and large in Calgary.
Yes.
Is that difficult? I mean, you're not alone. There's a lot of people that do that, right? Is it hard?
Not really. I mean, as you know, I have season tickets to the Stampeders. My girlfriend, who I live with, is a diehard Stampeders fan. I wear a Stampeders jersey when it doesn't have anything to do with, when it doesn't affect my Lions. When the Lions come to town, I tell all the other season ticket holders around us, my twin brother's going to show up. He's going to be a Lions fan, kind of obnoxious. You got to put up with him. But there's lots of Canuck fans here. You go to any Flames game and you're getting high fives all over the dome, because Calgary is like a meshing point of Canada. People move here. It was funny, I was talking to your friend, the security guard down. Rod. And
easy to remember his name for me.
He 50 years old, and he was born and bred here in Calgary. That's rare. You don't find many people over 40 that's been born and bred here. Everybody's moved here, like myself.
Yeah, it's like the Las Vegas of Canada in that regard. Colin in Ottawa writes in and says, who named the WHL team in Lethbridge the Hurricanes? Because when I think of Hurricanes, I don't think Southern Alberta. I don't know. We should have asked that when we had their general manager on 30 minutes ago.
Have you been to Lethbridge?
It's very windy.
It's extremely windy.
Yeah, but what do we associate hurricanes with? Water.
Yeah, but it's the wind.
Yeah.
It's the wind.
Tornadoes might have worked.
Oh, yeah, that would work.
But who are we to say?
They get 100-mile-an-hour winds down there.
Interesting Glenn in Medicine Hat, hockey guy, golf guy, media guy. He says, funny how so many of us crave WHL news heading into the playoffs. Sadly, it seems a volunteer effort is needed to provide extensive coverage. Advertisers don't really seem to see the value. I know Glenn and I have to go along. I'm with you. I woke up today and I'm just salivating for junior hockey coverage, and I can't find it. I was looking for previews of the series on the WHL.ca. It's not there, and you're not going to find it in the Leader Post or the Calgary Herald and all the places you used to. Honestly, I went to Greg Drennan's blog, and interesting, Glenn was a guy who said on the weekend on Twitter, why are these old newspaper guys so bitter? We know a lot of them. You want to take a stab at that? Do you even know any of them? You're not a media guy by
trade. I'm not a media guy whatsoever, so I wouldn't know any of them.
Yeah.
But change is good. I can't remember the last time I picked up a newspaper and read it. We get the local Airdrie newspaper at our door once a week, and a lot of times we don't go out the front door, so a lot of times there'll be 3 or 4 pile up, and they're still in their elastic band, and we toss them into the recycling. Who reads a newspaper anymore? Maybe online more so.
I bought one yesterday, just, you know, $2.50 for a Calgary Sun on a Sunday. Just putting that out there. And quite frankly, I quite enjoyed it. But
so you're the old newspaper guy.
Yep. Well, aren't we all? We all love reading it, right?
Used to.
We still read the info.
That's true.
Just get it in different ways.
In a different way, I guess that's
true. Swerve in Calgary says, how about... Well, first he says being a Wild fan in Calgary is lonelier than a Maytag repairman. But that's your fault. Jeff the Stamps fan says everyone moves here, yet we take such flack. I think Jeff the Stamps fan could benefit from some time with you.
With my other hat?
Yeah.
My other...
Who cares what people think? He's always getting worked up about what people think about Calgary and say about Calgary. And I'm like, literally, who cares? Or what people say about the CFL. Literally, who cares? And we're kind of running out of time to talk about this here, but Glenn said advertisers don't see the value in junior hockey coverage. And I'm like, that's the frickin' problem. Well, it's very hard to sell. They'd rather be associated with the NFL coverage, the NHL coverage, the Flames coverage. Dude, if there was a market for the junior hockey coverage, we'd be all over it. And unfortunately, the CFL's kind of hurtling toward that road. It is.
It is. I mean, it's the how many people have cable that they're able to actually watch a WHL game anymore. Most people under 40 don't have cable.
Oh, and they're not on television, so don't even get me started on that. They used to be, but they're not anymore.
And why aren't they? Because nobody has cable anymore.
Or they couldn't sell it.
Or they couldn't sell it. One of the two.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I love watching junior hockey when I get a chance. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of chance to watch a lot of.
You're busy.
Busy guy.
Kevin, the medium's with us, and you got an official welcome here from WQEE Radio in Noonan, Georgia, Metro Atlanta. Another great RP show, King Rod, Top Gun, and Kevin. There you go, from WQEE. We got to get them on the blower. Ryan in Toronto says, thanks, Rod and crew. Great show today, as always. Ali in Texarkana says, wait, Kevin's our real medium, so it's not a nickname? Yes.
I get asked that so many times since you gave me the moniker
Kevin the Medium.
Are you really a medium? And I'm like, yes, that's how Rod and I
you're going to go to the medium that's coming to the Grey Eagle here.
We're going to try. We've got a couple mediums coming. We've got
the Long Island medium.
Long Island.
Can't remember her name.
Teresa.
Yes, Caputo.
And
Matt Fraser, I think.
And Matt Fraser's coming as well.
Check it all out at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Thank you, Kev.
You're welcome.
Tomorrow we'll be coming to you from IKS in the Queen City, talking a lot of hockey. Join us then here on Game Plus and WQEE.
Who has more fun than us?